Do we have any idea what we're doing?
No, we were just going to talk about
okay.
the
things.
Yes.
You get stage fright? You do this every week just with the audio.
Yeah, it's different when I know people can see me.
Oh, okay. But you're so pretty.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, jam! Hello again, and welcome to this.
The League of Explorers. Is that not it?
Close.
Close, okay.
Not close at all, actually. The Stone of Challenge. No, wait, that was last week. I'm Chewie, as always, and I am joined by Mike.
Hey, everybody.
We are here to talk about, as you can tell from the title of the video, the new upcoming Nerfs in Hearthstone, because we were hanging out tonight and didn't have anything else to do. Whispers of the Old Gods is coming out. The standard format is happening in Hearthstone. So they're going to have standard and wild, which for you Magic players, it's like standard and legacy, essentially. So there's going to be the rotating format that is constantly changing, and there's new stuff added all the time, and then there's the ungodly mess over there. To help balance a few things for wild and to address some concerns they've had for wild, they're going to nerf. What's another word for nerf? It's just nerf. I don't know. Debuff?
Debuff. Yeah, that's the word I was about to come up with.
They're powering down some classic old cards that they've had their eye on for a while for various reasons. Mostly to open up design space, which we'll talk about that when it applies.
And this is something that just needs to be done every once in a while if you're going to have some kind of classic or core set that you want to keep a part of the game as it goes on. We've already, now we're blurry again, what the hell? We've already, we've seen it happen about, 15-ish times with the Magic core set. We know it's a routine thing that happens. For Hearthstone, it's very, very new. Well, I wouldn't say very, because they've changed cards in the core set plenty of times.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, the classic set, plenty of times.
Only a couple times since it's come out of beta. Like the last one was the Warsong Commander nerf, because that needed nerfing.
Right.
For the same reason, actually, because it limited design space when you summoned a creature.
Yeah, when you summoned a creature, that was a thing. A creature with 3 or less power.
Right, then it got charged. Which means everything that they ever printed with 3 or less power,
In neutral or in warrior.
yeah, had to be looked at with Warsong Commander in mind. The big example that they keep giving is Dreadsteed. Dreadsteed was going to be a neutral card, and then they looked over at Warsong Commander and went, and they made it a Warlock card.
That would have been so incredibly sick and broken.
I've seen it in, like, Piloted Sky Golem, like, trolled in videos. It would pop out and just, and it was insane. Yeah.
Yeah, there were 12 cards that were edited, which is a lot for one go.
Lot, yeah. So the first problem was Druid, because the Druid class has a very specific set of cards that you always play in every deck, and then there are all the others, but they're always there, and this is a problem. They wanted Druids to be able to build more different decks without feeling like they were being punished for it. The first up is Ancient of Lore. It no longer draws 2 cards. It now has choose 1, draw a card, or restore 5 health. And this one caught me by surprise.
Yeah.
I didn't see this one coming at all. I'd heard people mention maybe it should only draw 1 card, and I was like, why?
Yeah, that makes it kind of pointless for the cost. It's a huge difference.
Yeah.
It's an incredible, incredible difference.
The first thing that popped into my head was just play Azure Drake, which for 5 mana gets you a 4/4, draws you a card, and has spell power. Whereas for 7 mana, you can get a 5/5 and a card.
Or the option to get health, but...
Yeah, but it's only 5 health, which... because it's so good, basically it works in Ramp Druid, it works in Mid-Range Druid as like the top end. So yeah, this one, like I said, this one caught me by surprise, but there it is. Next up is the big one that everyone was expecting. So, Druids typically only have to deal 16 damage over the course of a game to win, because once they hit 9 mana, or 7 mana with an Innervate, or 6 mana with a coin and an Innervate, you get Force of Nature Savage Roar, the wombo combo, and you just die. And you have to be super aware of your life total when you're playing against a druid because you could just die. Like, you have to be very careful to not leave minions on their board because you might just die. You have to be very careful not to dip too low in life because you might just die. You have to be very careful about, should I play this other thing that advances me towards winning, or should I play this taunt?
Yeah.
Because you might just die. So Force of Nature no longer costs 6 mana, no longer gives you 3 2/2 trance with charge that died end of turn. Now it just gives you 3 2/2 trance. And they dropped its mana cost. So now it costs 5 for 3 guys that don't die, they don't have charge, they're just there. And I actually think this is still good.
It is still a good spell.
Because, like, 6/6 for 5 mana is good.
Yeah. And when you can spread it across 3 bodies, that does make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, this dies to things like Holy Nova that a 6/6 doesn't, but then this survives things like Shadow or Death that a 6/6 doesn't. So, 6 of one, a 6/6 of the other.
And it still works with Savage Roar, except you see it coming.
Right, and what they said was they wanted to give opponents, a chance to react. And I think this is good. I despise playing against Druid on the ladder. I just hate it because I might just die. And I never feel like... Okay, I sometimes feel like they didn't deserve the win. Like, you dealt me 16, I've kept your board clear, I've done really well, but you played Tharasan earlier, and he got 1 trigger, and now you can go, like, force, roar, and I die. And I hate it. I really do.
Yeah, the two card you're dead is just frustrating.
Yeah. And this is one we knew was coming. We knew they were going to change one of them. They specifically said Druid. And we knew that it meant the Force Roar combo. So, it's no longer a thing, but like I said, I still think it's playable. I think it's a pretty good card.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this one threw me. Keeper of the Grove.
Gosh.
Keeper of the Grove is no longer a 2/4. Now it's just a 2/2. And when I first read that, I went,
ouch.
because that's huge. And I read their reasoning, and it made sense, because when have you ever, not you, when have normal people ever built a Druid deck and didn't have 2 Keeper of the Grove in it, as long as you have 2 Keepers in your collection? I built a token Druid deck back in the day. 2 Keepers.
Yep.
Right now I have a mid-range Druid deck built for quests. 2 Keepers.
Yeah.
I have a mill Druid built right now. Guess what's in it? 2 Keepers. And when you build Ramp Druid, do you put Keepers in a Ramp Druid deck?
Yeah, if you're not an idiot like me.
And it's because it's flexible. It's a free silence, essentially. You don't have to play something that's specifically silence in case you need it, because you might not need it. But this, it's either 2 damage or a silence with a 2/4 attached. It's really good.
Yeah.
And it's too good because all 4 drops in Druid, you look at it and you're like, would I rather play this or the Keeper? It's a tough choice. Usually it's not a tough choice. You just play the Keeper. They're nerfing it, so now you actually have to think about whether you want to put this in your deck or not. It's not just a...
Going down 2 whole toughness. And no change to the mana cost was a serious hit.
It is they're not even messing around. Like, they are dead serious about this. I was talking to a buddy. I didn't even know these happened until my buddy Stark mentioned it, and he was like, why is it not a 2/3? And I went, I don't know.
That's what I was thinking earlier.
I don't know.
It's like, come on.
Because they are serious about making you think about using Keeper of the Grove. So that's all of the big Druid changes. Druid took a big hit because Druid doesn't have that much flexibility, and that's what they want. They want to open up deck building to where you don't have to feel like you need this and this and this and this and this and this, and now you've only got like 12 spots to work with. Understand. They've nerfed Iron Beak Owl. He costs 3 mana now. And when I read this, it never occurred to me, but I read it and I went, yeah, I can see that. And that's where I stopped. How about you?
It took me a few beats to really come on board with it. And I remembered all the times when my opponent spent 2 mana and I heard the hooty hoo and suddenly I was completely screwed.
Yeah, I mean, a 2-1 for 2 isn't great, but it's so great when it's great. When you just need a silence, you can go 2 mana, completely stop what you're doing, and then do other stuff for the rest of the turn. That's pretty sick. And it's got to be the mana cost, because how many times have you seen serious people play Spellbreaker?
In Arena, yes.
Yes.
Otherwise...
I've never even seen Spellbreaker in, like, Reno decks.
Wow.
Right? So I didn't see this coming, but now that it's happened, it makes sense because it's really good. And it's a body on the board that they then have to deal with. Mm-hmm. Sure, lots of the classics can just go pew, but that's the problem with all 1 toughness dudes. So, yeah, whatever. But I think adding 1 for the silence so it's not stupidly efficient is fine.
But it can still kill Keeper of the Grove.
That's something it couldn't do before.
That's right.
So look, they buffed it. Look at that. Shut up, Mike. All right, next up is another one we knew was coming. We just weren't sure what they would do. Big Game Hunter now costs 5. And I was expecting some sort of like game text change, to be honest, but I guess this works.
I think a game text change would be too large of a change for the role that it's supposed to fulfill.
That is true.
If they knock that number up to like 8 or something like that,
yeah, then it's Big Dragon Hunter and that's it.
Yeah, it'd just be dumb.
Like some of the things I'd seen thrown around were deal damage equal to something. I don't know. None of those seem like they worked for me in my head. So make it cost 5. So now on turn 10, when someone top decks a boom, I can't go play my own boom, Big Game Hunter your boom, laugh at you. And that's the main purpose of Big Game Hunter ever since Boom was printed, was it kills Dr. Boom.
Yeah.
3 mana 4/2, kill a thing that's gonna kill you. It's too good.
I would use the magic term Necrotal, a creature you play that can come in and just kill something right off the bat.
Right.
Because of the premium on card draw in Hearthstone, any Necrotal is just very powerful. 3 mana, kill the thing you spent at least 6+ mana on.
Yeah.
4 power.
And now it's still there. It's still fulfilling its role. It's keeping the fatties in check from running all over you, but it costs more now. It's not an auto include. Like, oh, no. I got 1 slot left. I'll throw in a Big Game Hunter. I'll need it. Not anymore. All right, this one I hadn't thought of, but yeah, duh.
Yeah.
Hunter's Mark is no longer free. It costs 1 now.
I mean, for all the damage it can deal, 0 is too cheap.
Yeah, I mean, I play Dr. Boom. You spend 3 mana for an Unleash the Hounds, and then you spend 0 mana on a Hunter's Mark, and you kill my Boom. Yeah, it's always bothered me that this costs 0. Like, I liked it, but I don't think it's right. Nothing to see here. I mean, it cost 5 with Loatheb, so...
Oh, well.
Yeah, now it costs 6. Ha! What's next? Blade Flurry. This one is huge. So what they said was Blade Flurry is too much board clear and face damage all at once. Or burst damage, rather. And it's true. And again, the first thing that popped into my mind was you can go Wicked Knife, 2 mana, Deadly Poison. So now you have a 5 power weapon. Hit you in the face for 5. Spend 2 more mana, Blade Flurry, wipe your board, and deal you 10. That's really good for 6 mana, even though it took 3 cards. Like, it's Rogue. Rogue draws cards. It's not hard.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot. And then, like, Oil Rogue happened, and Tinker Sharpsword Oil. And Blade Flurry just became the win condition, and it's insane.
Yeah, I mean, even in the crummy decks that I built with it, I could take someone down from 16 in 1 shot, no problem, you know.
See?
It's just...
And Mike's not even good at this game.
No.
See? So what they've done is they've made it only deal its damage to enemy minions, and they increased its cost to 4. And of all of the changes, this is the one that has people losing their minds. Now, granted, the rogue decks that have been good lately don't even care about this all that much, because they're like Raptor Rogues, and there's the occasional Miracle Rogue, but there's only like 5 people left in the world that are still playing that seriously and competitively and doing well with it. Like, this doesn't change much right now, and their reasoning for this is big. They said this allows them to make better rogue cards, because Blade Flurry is one of, it's like the Warsong Commander. Anytime they want to make a weapon or a weapon buff for rogue, they have to look at Blade Flurry and go, is this too good? Not anymore, they don't. Because now it'll wipe your board all day, but it costs 4, which still seems a bit high, but then I'm fairly certain...
It costs 4 and it steals a future attack from you.
So yeah, they said they wanted you to have to decide whether or not you're going to hit your opponent in the face or wipe his board, not be able to get both, you know, with a weapon with 1 charge on it left. While I think that the mana cost hike was a bit harsh, I'm pretty sure this is one that's going to pay out. Like, this is going to open up design space for them, allow them to make better rogue cards, maybe make rogue a class that people actually play again. Because poor rogue. But this is the one that had a wailing and a gnash of teeth. I can't say that. Hold your horses, calm down. Calm your horses. It'll be fine. I hope. So Knife Juggler's broken.
Knife Juggler's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like it.
Mike and I were talking about this earlier, and our second Knife Juggler is the first card that both of us crafted. Because I opened a Knife Juggler and I was like... And as soon as I had 100 dust, I built a second one and it was awesome. It was awesome! Because he's got really good stats. A 3/2 for 2.
Yes.
And he's got a ridiculous ability.
Crazy ability.
So it wouldn't surprise me, actually, if they made him cost 3. But instead, they didn't. He's a 2-mana 2/2 now. Out of all of these, I went, yeah, that seems good.
Yeah.
Because it's still a 2-mana card. It's still got an ability that you really want. When you really want to use it, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it doesn't change how fast he can start working.
Right.
But the one less power...
a mana increase would be huge for.
Yeah, that'd be a really big deal.
Like in Wild, you know, once Standard and Wild start, you wouldn't be able to go turn 2 Knife Juggler, turn 3 Muster for Battle and wreck someone's day. Mm-hmm. And that's big.
But the one less power limits how much he can just start running up on someone if you play him on turn 2. And it limits the number of other creatures he can kill in combat in addition to all the work that his ability does.
He does sort of retroactively make Zombie Chow better. Turn 1 Zombie Chow, well, I've got a Knife Juggler, so at least that'll trade. Now it's turn 1 Zombie Chow. Damn it, now I can't play my Knife Juggler. So that's Knife Juggler. Mm-hmm. It makes it a fair card now, because if you're being honest with yourself, it was too good. It really was. Wait, what are we comparing? Never mind. Okay, next up is another aggressive card. Leper Gnome is a 1/1 for 1 now.
I was surprised. I mean, as he is right now, he was always obnoxious. When he first came out, it felt like he was slightly too good, but as time passed, I didn't really get that feeling anymore. I just knew he was good.
He's an auto-include in any flavor of aggressive deck, because he's essentially 4 damage for 1 mana, which is really good. Or he's 2 damage, almost guaranteed, and like some tempo. If instead of playing a dude, they shoot your Leper Gnome instead, like against a mage, for instance. Mm-hmm. So now he's a 1 mana 1/1 that deals 2 damage. So now he's a Lightning Bolt. He's 3 damage for 1 mana without the overload. Hey!
Yeah. Not knocking off the 1 power, I'm much less inclined to want to try to kill him as soon as possible if my opponent plays a turn 1 Leper Gnome. I've spent many coins killing Leper Gnomes over the past, ever since he came out.
Like hiring out people to hit it, or?
No, it was like coin, fire, coin.
Whatever, you were taking out
Wild
contracts
shape.
on Leper Gnomes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they feel icky, and that makes Mike uncomfortable. So now he's not the auto include in every aggressive deck ever, which again is what they were going for. They wanted you to have options. And like, okay, am I building a deck? Yes. Is it going to be aggressive? Yes. Is it Warlock? No. Leper Gnomes then. All right, moving on. Speaking of aggressive cards, Arcane Golem. Arcane Golem is a whole new animal now. Instead of 3 mana 4/2 charge that gives your opponent a mana crystal, he's now a 3 mana 4/4 that gives your opponent a mana crystal. No charge. He's no longer just 4 damage. Bam! He's just another dude.
Before he was a neutral burn spell.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Not every deck wants that, but any aggressive deck probably does. You were saying earlier it's a worse sword. Dancing swords. Did we ever figure that out?
Oh, we never did.
Is it called dancing swords?
You know, the 3 mana 4/4 with the death rattle give your opponent draws a card.
Yeah.
He's that.
Except
just on the front end.
Yeah.
And
Except
mana crystal
in
is
many cases
potentially more
worse.
dangerous.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Like, I understand why they did it, because the neutral burn spell is not a thing that needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in Warlocks, you can go Arcane Golem, power overwhelming, swing for 12. And that's just that. Like, then there's the whole faceless manipulator thing where you go swing for 24. And I was telling Mike just a few days ago, I was at 18 comfortably, and I didn't play a taunt. I didn't even ask myself the Druid question. Because with a Druid, you expect it. Like,
yeah.
Do I advance my game to try to win, or do I play this taunt? And I'm like, well, this isn't a Druid. So I didn't even ask the question. I just went, play this thing to advance my game, because he had an empty board. And then he goes, Golem, power, manipulator, you're dead. And I went... In aggressive decks, are you going face? Yes. Well, then play Arcane Golem. Duh. And they've said that charge is a problem many times. Warsong Commander, Force of Nature. Mm-hmm. Even Leroy Jenkins got nerfed a long time ago. He used to cost 4. He used to be a third fireball. Now he costs 5, and he's not broken. He was a win condition for an entire deck. The earlier version of... Not the original version, but the earlier version of Miracle Rogue would go Leroy, hit you for 6, Shadow Step, hit you for 6, Shadow Step, Shadow Step, and then Cold Blood.
Oh, Cold Blood, right. Gosh.
And if it was just 1, then it was hit you for 10. So what's that, 28?
That's a lot.
Wait, is that 28? 6 and 6 is 12,
18
and 10.
plus 4 is 22.
22. Where did I get the other... Oh, there's another Cold Blood in there. That's what it is. So it was actually 26. Excuse me. I can't.
Which is a lot.
Well, when you start at 30, yeah, that's a lot. That's insane. So they nerfed him to where you couldn't do all of that in one turn. The Arcane Golem didn't do enough damage for that to matter. Mm-hmm. So that never happened. But now it's a power overwhelming thing, especially now that Dark Peddler can get you more power overwhelmings.
Oh yeah, because you said in your...
Oh yeah, one of those that killed me it said created by Dark Peddler, and I was like, ah. So yeah, this guy is now from aggressive deck finisher to useless nonsense, because nobody plays the sword anymore. Even most mill decks have stopped using him. I can't ever see wanting to just give your opponent a mana crystal, and that's fine. Sure, you can play him on turn 9 or 10, and it doesn't matter. Woo, 4/4 on turn 10. Yes.
But now you have like 7 mana left over to do other stuff.
Yeah. They're removing a bunch of the commonly seen burst damage, right?
Right.
So that means they can fix another card that's been bothering them, Molten Giant. Because Molten Giant costs 1 less for each damage your hero was taken, which means once you're at 10, Molten Giant is free. Like day 9 had the Echo Giant deck where he'd go Molten Giant for free, Echo of Medivh, Molten Giant, Echo of Medivh, get 4 giants. How many has he got now? He's got 4 on the board, and then play 3 more, and then say sorry. And of course, Handlock has been playing Molten Giant forever.
Yeah.
And you always had to be very careful when Handlock was big, when dealing damage to your opponent, because anytime you have to go, wait, I don't want to deal too much damage. What? What is that even? So now they've upped his cost to 25. So in order to play him for completely free, you have to go to 5. And they said they want you to have to take a risk to get a free 8/8. And imagine that. And with Force of Nature Savage Roar being nerfed, and with the Arcane Golem being nerfed, and a bunch of the other aggressive cards being nerfed, it's probably safer to do that.
Yeah, there's slightly less chance that you're just going to up and die.
Yeah. So that makes the Molten Giant a little more doable at 5 life. And you can still play him when you're at 10. Like a 5 mana 8/8 is still really good. What are you complaining about? Plus, Big Game Hunter got nerfed. So they didn't want the Molten Giant to be too good. But between Boom and Molten Giant, it's basically what my Big Game Hunter is for.
Uh-huh.
I mean, every once in a while I have to kill a Alexstrasza. Okay, let's move on. The last change is one that gave me pause. I was like, what? Because Master of Disguise is the only card like this that says give a friendly minion stealth. All of the others, the spare part, conceal. Is that all? I think that might be all.
Sure.
But they say... And
send us an email if you can think of...
Yeah, leave a comment of how wrong we are. We're doing this all off the top of our head.
Right.
Yeah, this isn't the podcast. Has trouble switching between formats. Master of Disguise just gave it stealth forever until it got knocked out of stealth, or until you used it to deal damage. So now it gives a friendly minion stealth until your next turn. And I was like, nobody even plays this card. But it's useful for things that have triggered abilities. Like if you ever manage to get one in a shaman deck somehow by some wizardry, putting it on like one of your little totems, that like the Mana Tide or the Vitality totem, was just sick. And yeah, that's very specific, but any sort of ability that has a trigger, like the new Old God, whichever one it is, that at the end of your turn, grab a minion out of your deck and put it on the battlefield. Like that's ridiculous. And if it survives a turn and you give it stealth, what are they gonna do? And again, that's just one example. Yeah, I know. Well, that costs 14 mana. Yeah, I know. I'm just spitballing here. Like the obvious choice is to say Ragnaros, but that doesn't work because stealth is broken when you deal damage. And so Ragnaros throws a fireball, die insect, and now he's not stealthed anymore. So
how about Hogger? You have Hogger, permanent stealth. That's good, right? What am I thinking of?
That is terrifying.
Okay. The look you were giving me, I wasn't sure whether that was a look of you're stupid or...
No, that's a look of, oh my god, if I couldn't kill a Hogger. Oh.
But also, something Chewie brought up when we were talking earlier about this was that it allows for, like the Old God, but maybe not something on that level or as big and silly as that. Making this change allows for more minions with interesting triggered abilities that you can't just give permanent stealth and just be sitting back there like, what,
Bring it, son. Bring it. Say my name 3 times. Opens up more design space, and it falls in line with all the other stealth things, or things that give stealth. Those are the nerfs. That's what they've announced. That will change going forward. I guess this updates when the set drops on the 26th.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's what they said. These changes will arrive as part of Hearthstone patch 5.0. So yeah, on the 26th, all of these take place. So I personally am looking forward to it. I love playing control. I love that. Like most of the decks I have built right now are slower, more control-y decks, but I can't play them because everybody's playing aggressive, because everybody wants to ladder quickly. But now they said with League of Explorers they were trying to push back on, not League of Explorers, before that, the Grand Tournament. They were trying to push back on aggro and slow the game down a little bit, and that didn't work. And then League of Explorers, that didn't change anything. It gave aggressive decks Finley, so now I can get steady shot in my face, warrior. But now they're actively attempting to slow things down, and I'm okay with that. That's just personal opinion. But do let us know what you think. Leave a comment and let us know what your opinions are on all these. How irrationally did you react to Blade Flurry? Did you threaten to quit? You threatened to quit, didn't you? It's fine. You're a rogue player. We wouldn't miss you. Sorry, I'm sorry. Like I said, leave us a comment. Let me know what you think of all of these nerfs. Think they're a good idea, bad idea? Specifically, what do you like or don't like? And remember, before you start freaking out, it's for the health, the long-term health of the game. This is a very important thing. Well, let's stop now. You want to stop now?
Yeah, might as well.
We've rambled on long enough. So, like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to know as soon as the next one comes out, and all the ones after that. Leave us a comment. If you want to help support what we do with the podcast and all the videos and whatnot, or what I do with the podcast and the videos and all that, then check out the Patreon. So this has been the Hearthstone 5.0 Nerf Report. Thank you all so very much for watching, and go play some Hearthstone. I am happy with this outcome. It's a 10?
Oh. Okay.
It's a 10? It's not. It doesn't shoot in every. To the side of the trail, they saw a dark figure. Mike left the wagon to investigate. Mike, what are you doing? I know you're distraught because Bill died. But come on, man. Holy Jesus!